It's been more than 2 weeks since the seditious six urged our military to ignore so-called illegal orders. And now more Democrats are lining up to melt down over drug strikes on narco terrorists. Enter Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chair, Virginia's Senator Mark Warner.
Unprecedented disrespect when they were all brought to get a pep rally in front of Hegseth and Trump. The uniformed military may help save us from this president and his lame people like Hegseth, because I think their commitment is to the Constitution and obviously not to Trump.
Here to react is Texas Congressman and fellow House Intelligence Committee member Pat Fallon. Pat, I don't wish I had a question. I'd just like you to react to that insanity we just saw.
I mean, Marcus, unbelievable. Incendiary. It reminds me of the rhetoric the Democrats used back in 1860 with Lincoln before the Civil War, to sit there and say, because you disagree with the president's policy, that he's a threat to the Constitution. And, you know, I mean, they've also beat it to a dead horse about threat to democracy. Anytime that the president or someone says something that they don't agree with or supports a policy that they're opposed to. And you know what? First of all, we're a republic. Let's start there. And just because we disagree with you, you don't have to break out the ists, isms, and phobes. It's getting really, really tired and, quite frankly, lazy.
Yeah.
It is lazy. More rage bait. Listen to this Democrat Congresswoman Delia Ramirez from Illinois. Congressman.
The American people's anger and tolerance of DHS violations of our rights, that's what's the result of DHS unlawful, unaccountable, unconstitutional actions, which put the American people and our liberties at risk every day. Let me be very clear. The Department of Homeland Security, you can quote me on that, is the single biggest threat to public safety right now.
Who's winning elections running on that campaign slogan?
Dang, that was something. The biggest single threat is the Department of Homeland Security. I'd say it's probably narco terrorists, the Mexican drug cartels, the Chinese Communist Party, Putin's resurgent and very aggressive Russia, the Islamo-fundamentalist terrorists, things like that. And listen, here's a fact, that illegal border crossings are down 95%.
That's right.
The Mexican drug cartel's income is down dramatically. These are not only drug dealers, they're also slave traders. The human trafficking that they got away with under the Biden administration was historic. Joe Biden made every state in this country a border state. And to sit there and hear that, what a bunch of, some things I can't say on cable TV, but what a bunch of bunk.
Congressman, after listening to both of those clips, you have to be worried about what the American public are starting to think. And I would imagine that even if people don't agree politically, nobody agrees that this type of rhetoric is a good idea. How do you deal with it when you're walking the halls and listening to Democrats say these types of things?
Well, it's unfortunate, Marcus, because some of these people are getting rewarded. You can think of Crockett in Dallas. The more awful that she is, the more money she raises. And it's a race to the bottom. I'm not going to participate in that. I'm going to talk about policy. And if I don't like your policy, I'm going to call the policy out. For Democrats, I have a message for every Democrat out there. Please love your country more than you hate Donald Trump. You'll be a happier person and the country will be better off.
Yeah.
Amen to that. And I want to get back, before we jump, Congressman, to something I asked Senator Tommy Tuberville about earlier, is that the way President Trump, what is going on, say, with the fraud in Minnesota and the focus on broadly immigration. When we allow immigrants into this country, one of the judgments is whether you're going to be on public assistance or not. That is one of the judgments. And also, it is in the national interest, immigration, not the interest of individuals and other nations. That's how immigration should be structured in this country.
When you enter, you participate and you contribute. You just talked about Coach Tuberville. Coach Lou Holtz told me, when we get to Notre Dame doesn't become you, you become us. And it's the same thing in the United States. When you get here as an immigrant, and when considering that billions of people want to come here and only a choice few can, you become us. We don't become you. The melting pot works. And it's a shame some people don't realize it.
Yeah, well, the good people do. So thank you so much for your patriotism.
Great to see you.